Welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into the top 4 fascinating world of rare coins, where history, artistry, and economics intersect. In particular, we're going to explore the story of one of the most valuable $1 coins ever minted in the United States, the first UO, the 1926 S-Piece dollar. While its face value reads just $1, its worth today can reach into the tens of thousands, even over 6 figures under the right conditions. But why? What makes a single silver coin from nearly a century ago command such a hefty price tag? Over the next 30 minutes, we'll uncover the story behind the coin, its historical context, rarity, design details, and why collectors are willing to pay so much for this seemingly ordinary piece of American currency. To understand the value of the 1926 S-Piece dollar, we need to go back to the post-World War I era. The Piece Dollar series was introduced in 1921 to commemorate the end of World War I and the desire for lasting peace. This coin replaced the Morgan dollar, which had been minted on and off since 1878. The Piece Dollar was more than just currency. It was a symbol of hope, marking a turning point in American history. Designed by Anthony de Francisci, it features Lady Liberty on the obverse, modeled after his wife Teresa, and a majestic bald eagle on the reverse, clutching an olive branch, a direct nod to peace. The coin's release was a patriotic gesture, steeped in symbolism. At a time when America was redefining its role in the world, the design of the Piece Dollar is a favorite among numismatists and art lovers alike. On the obverse, Liberty wears a radiant crown similar to the Statue of Liberty's, an embodiment of freedom and enlightenment. Her features are modern and elegant, departing from the classical depictions of earlier U.S. coinage. On the reverse, the eagle perches on a mountaintop, wings folded, looking toward the sun, signifying a hopeful future. The word peace appears prominently beneath the eagle, unique to this series. This design, while beautiful, presented technical challenges during production, especially at the San Francisco Mint, where the 1926 S-coin was struck. Weak strikes and inconsistent details make finding a well-preserved example difficult, driving up collector value dramatically. Now, let's zero in on the 1926 S-Piece dollar, struck at the San Francisco Mint. This issue has long been regarded as one of the toughest piece dollars to acquire in high grade. With a total mintage of just over 6.9 million coins, the 1926 S isn't the rarest piece dollar by mintage numbers alone. However, due to the quality control issues of the San Francisco Mint at the time, most of these coins exhibit poor strikes and heavy bag marks. The San Francisco facility was notorious for rushing production and using overused dies, leading to dull, flat details, particularly on the hair of Liberty and the feathers of the eagle. This makes finding an uncirculated 1926 S with sharp detail exceedingly rare. It's not uncommon for collectors to search for years before acquiring one that meets their standard in the coin collecting world. Condition is everything. And for the 1926 S-Piece dollar, condition drastically affects value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with anything above 60 considered mint state. Most surviving 1926 S dollars grade well below MS 60 due to poor minting quality and extensive circulation. In fact, examples grading MS 65 and higher are virtually unheard of. According to PCGS, fewer than a few dozen coins exist in MS 65 or better, and these command staggering premiums. For example, a 1926 S-Piece dollar graded MS 66 by PCGS once sold for over $100,000 at auction, a record for this issue. And even MS 64 coins can bring thousands. The rarity isn't just in the number of coins struck, it's in the scarcity of high-quality survivors. That's what separates this coin from other piece dollars and makes it a holy grail for series collectors when it comes to market value. The 1926 S-Piece dollar is one of the most volatile and sought-after issues. While a heavily worn circulated version might fetch $30 to $50, an uncirculated MS 63 can command over $1,000, and MS 65s regularly surpass $10,000. The few 66 examples known to exist are in the hands of serious investors and elite collectors. One such coin sold through heritage auctions in 2011 for $120,750, setting a benchmark for this mint mark and date. More recently, prices have held steady or increased, especially as more investors move into tangible assets like rare coins. The Peace Dollar series as a whole has gained renewed interest in recent years, and the 1926 being one of its key condition rarities, sits at the top of many want lists. What drives this demand, aside from rarity? It's a combination of historical significance, the symbolism of the Peace Dollar series, and the thrill of the hunt. Completing a full set of Peace Dollars in high grade is a formidable challenge, and the 1926 is often the final hurdle. Its scarcity in top condition gives it both collector appeal and investment potential. Coins of this caliber are seen as alternative assets, portable, private, and historically grounded. They're less susceptible to market crashes, and over time, they often appreciate in value. Many collectors who acquired these coins decades ago for a few $100s now find themselves sitting on small fortunes. And in a time when digital investments dominate, tangible assets like rare coins are seeing a resurgence in popularity among the known high-grade 1926 Peace Dollars. A few examples have become legendary in numismatic circles. The Eliasberg specimen, for example, which came from the only complete collection of U.S. coins ever assembled, was considered one of the finest known and sold for a record price at the time. Other examples housed in the collections of major institutions or private estates have only been seen publicly during rare auction appearances. These coins often become the centerpiece of collections, and stories surrounding their ownership add to the lore. The provenance of a coin, its history of ownership, can add even more value, especially when tied to famous collectors or landmark sales. So, what can we learn from the story of the 1926 Peace Dollar? That even something as small and seemingly ordinary as a silver dollar can carry immense historical, artistic, and monetary value. It reminds us that behind every coin is a story of a nation rebuilding after war, of an artist's vision, of immense struggles, and of collectors who see more than just metal. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or new to the hobby, the 1926 is a shining example of why coin collecting remains such a fascinating and rewarding pursuit. Next up, the 1927 Peace Dollar. While on the surface it may appear like just another silver coin, its historical context, rarity, and the small mysteries surrounding its circulation have made it one of the most sought-after collector's items in numismatics. And yes, this seemingly humble $1 coin from nearly a century ago has sold for eye-watering amounts, sometimes fetching six figures at auction. But what makes this coin so special? Why 1927? And what drives collectors to spend small fortunes on a piece of old silver? Let's find out. The story of the 1927 Peace Dollar begins in the post-World War I era, a time when America was adjusting to its new role as a global power. The Peace Dollar itself was born out of symbolism. First minted in 1921, it was designed to commemorate the peace following the Great War. The coin replaced the Morgan dollar and carried a message not of conquest, but of resolution and hope. Its design, crafted by Anthony de Francisi, was a departure from the previous, more traditional styles. Lady Liberty, serene and strong, faces the dawn with rays of light behind her. On the reverse, a calm, yet watchful eagle rests atop a rock, clutching an olive branch, a message of peace, but with vigilance. This design wasn't just a work of art, it was a political statement, a cultural icon, and an economic tool all in one now. Fast forward a few years into the series. The Peace Dollar was produced almost every year from 1921 through 1935, with a few gaps and inconsistencies due to economic factors. The year 1927 is especially important to collectors not because of a striking design change or a significant historical event, but because of what wasn't produced in large numbers. Only two mints struck Peace Dollars that year: Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia Mint struck just over 848,000 coins, while the Denver Mint produced slightly more, around 1.2 million. These mintage numbers might sound high, but when compared to other years where production topped the millions or even tens of millions, 1927's output is relatively modest. More importantly, due to melting, wear, and attrition over time, very few of these coins have survived in pristine condition. What elevates the 1927 peace dollar to a whole new level of value is condition. Most peace dollars, even if rare, don't command incredible prices unless they are in mint state, particularly MS 66 or higher. And when it comes to the 1927 Philadelphia peace dollar, examples in MS 66 are incredibly scarce. According to population reports from leading grading services like PCGS and NGC, there are only a handful of such coins in existence, with even fewer MS 67 examples, which are practically unicorns. In fact, as of this video's release, fewer than 5 coins have been graded MS 67 by PCGS, and one of them sold for an astounding price of over $100,000 at auction. But what makes these high-grade examples so expensive isn't just the grade, it's the combination of low original mintage, lack of surviving high-grade coins, and collector demand. You see, many peace dollars were mishandled, stored in bags where they rubbed against each other for decades, accumulating dings and contact marks. Finding a coin from 1927 that has survived in a condition that's nearly flawless, with full luster, sharp details, and no visible imperfections, is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's this rarity that creates such massive value at auctions, where elite collectors compete for the finest known specimens to complete their registry sets. Beyond the auction scene, the 1927 peace dollar also carries a subtle mystique. Because the design wasn't altered and there were no famous errors that year, its value rests purely in quality, a true test of patience and dedication for collectors. It's a coin that doesn't scream rarity at first glance, but slowly reveals its significance to those who know what to look for. It's easy to overlook a 1927 peace dollar if you're browsing quickly, but to the trained eye, it represents an apex of opportunity and scarcity. To give you an idea of just how serious collectors take this coin, let's look at some numbers. In recent years, an MS 66 1927 peace dollar has fetched anywhere between $15,000 and $25,000, depending on eye appeal and the grading company's prestige. But once you step into MS 67 territory, that number skyrockets, often surpassing $100,000 if and when one becomes available. These coins are rarely offered publicly, and when they are, it draws the attention of museums, elite numismatists, and investment-focused collectors alike. It's not just about the metal or the mint mark, it's about owning a piece of perfection, frozen in time. What makes all of this even more interesting is that for many years, the peace dollar series was overshadowed by the Morgan dollar, which had a longer run and arguably more iconic status. But as collector tastes evolved and more emphasis was placed on condition rarity and aesthetic appeal, the peace series began to gain more recognition. Today, it is celebrated not just for its message of peace, but also for its artistic integrity and collecting challenges. And within that series, the 1927 issue stands as one of the most difficult dates to acquire in top condition. Let's also talk briefly about the people who collect coins like this. We're not just talking about hobbyists who fill books with circulated examples, although they're important too. We're talking about high-end collectors who see rare coins as a combination of history, art, and investment. For these collectors, a 1927 peace dollar in pristine condition is more than just a collectible. It's an asset. It's a trophy. It's a one-of-a-kind object that blends monetary history with visual elegance. And as long as rarity continues to drive demand, coins like this will only increase in value. So where does this leave us? The 1927 peace dollar, especially in high mint state, is not just a coin, it's a benchmark. It represents everything that collectors dream of: beauty, rarity, historical context, and value. It teaches us that even the most ordinary objects, like a $1 coin, can carry extraordinary stories. And for those lucky enough to own one of these numismatic gems, it's a constant reminder of the rich tapestry of American history, told not through textbooks, but through the gleam of silver and the echo of craftsmanship. The next up, the 1934 $1 coin, a humble silver dollar that has, in rare forms, sold for over $1 million. How? Why? What makes this particular coin so special? Stick around, because this is more than a coin. This is history, politics, craftsmanship, and mystery, all wrapped in silver. The year was 1934. America was in the depths of the Great Depression. Families across the nation were struggling to make ends meet. Jobs were scarce, banks had failed, and the economy was in freefall. In response to the economic chaos, President Roosevelt had enacted sweeping financial reforms. One of the most impactful of these was Executive Order 6102, a law that essentially outlawed the hoarding of gold. Citizens were ordered to hand over their gold coins, bullion, and certificates to the Federal Reserve in exchange for paper money. It was a controversial move, but it changed the foundation of American currency. The U.S. dollar was no longer directly backed by gold in the way it had been before. And in the middle of this monetary transformation, the U.S. Mint was still producing silver dollars, the beloved peace dollar series, which had started in 1921 and would continue until 1935. The peace dollar, created to commemorate the end of World War I, was symbolic, idealistic, and beautifully designed. But by 1934, the economy and government policy had begun to shape what would become one of the most enigmatic years in coin collecting history. Now, let's talk design. The 1934 $1 coin, commonly known as the 1934 peace dollar, features a stunning rendition of Lady Liberty on the obverse, created by sculptor Anthony de Francisci. Her windswept hair, the spiked crown reminiscent of the Statue of Liberty, this coin wasn't just currency. It was art. And on the reverse, a perched eagle facing the sunrise, olive branch clutched in talons, with the word peace engraved boldly below. This was no accident. It was the first U.S. coin to explicitly reference peace, a hope for stability after the horrors of war. But as beautiful and meaningful as this design was, there's more to the 1934 peace dollar than meets the eye. You see, not all 1934 peace dollars were created equal. And therein lies the mystery and the value. In the world of coin collecting, small details mean everything. Slight changes in font, spacing, relief, or mint marks can be the difference between a coin worth $20 and one worth hundreds of thousands. And the 1934 peace dollar is a prime example. That year, coins were struck at both the Philadelphia Mint and the San Francisco Mint. Most of these coins were business strikes meant for everyday circulation. But a small number, possibly only a handful, were struck under very unusual circumstances. Enter the legend of a 1934 peace dollar with a high relief strike, a coin that never should have existed. High relief refers to how deeply the coin's design is stamped into the metal. Most 1934 peace dollars are low relief, meaning the design sits relatively flat. But some experts and a few surviving coins point to the existence of a high-relief variety, believed to have been test strikes. These experimental coins were struck with more pressure, bringing out intense detail and depth in the design. But they were never intended for circulation. They were likely trial pieces struck and examined by mint officials before being scrapped. Somehow, a few high-relief 1934 peace dollars made their way out of the mint. Perhaps smuggled out by employees, perhaps handed over to influential collectors. We may never know for sure. But what we do know is that in numismatic circles, these coins are the stuff of legend. One such coin was certified by PCGS, the professional coin grading service, as a specimen strike, with exceptional sharpness, satin-like finish, and pristine condition. When it came to auction, the bidding war was intense. After all, this wasn't just a coin, it was potentially the only one of its kind known to exist. In 2021, that single 1934 peace dollar sold for a staggering $1,050,000. That sale stunned the numismatic world, but it also sparked questions. How many of these high-relief specimens exist? Why were they struck in the first place? Were they legal? Are there more hidden away in private collections, sock drawers, or old family coin jars? Experts suggest that the number of known high-relief 1934 peace dollars is fewer than 5. Some claim only one is officially recognized. The United States Mint has not acknowledged the official existence of a high-relief strike that year, and yet, independent graders and auction houses have certified them based on their physical properties. This conflict between official history and physical evidence only deepens the mystery and the value of course. There's also the factor of condition. In the world of rare coins, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A grade of MS, 65 or higher mint state, meaning untouched by circulation, can send values into the stratosphere. Combine a high-relief strike, historical significance, rarity, and pristine condition, and you've got the recipe for $1 million coin. But don't get your hopes up too quickly. Most 1934 piece dollars are common in circulated condition. They might be worth $30 to $100 depending on where. Even uncirculated examples, if they're low relief and standard strikes, usually fetch under $500. The real money lies in the outliers, the unknowns, the anomalies, the test strikes that slipped through the cracks of history. That's what makes numismatics coin collecting so addicting for many. It's not just about metal. It's about the story, the hunt, the what if. Imagine inheriting an old coin collection from a grandparent. You dust it off and find a 1934 piece dollar. It looks like the rest, but something's different. The details are sharper. The eagle's feathers more pronounced. You send it to a grading service. They call you back, voices tense with excitement. What you have isn't just a coin. It's history. It's art. And it could be worth more than your house. That dream keeps collectors searching, keeps historians intrigued, and keeps the market alive. So, what should you look for if you're lucky enough to come across a 1934? First, check the mint mark. If it has an S under the word 1 on the reverse, that means it was struck in San Francisco. The mint linked to the high-relief specimen. Second, examine the strike. Are the details unusually sharp? Does the coin seem more three-dimensional than typical examples? Third, get authenticated. Never try to clean or polish it. That can ruin the coin's value instantly. Send it to a reputable grading company like PCGS or NGC. Let the experts determine if you're holding an ordinary relic or $1 million treasure. In the end, the most expensive 1934 $1 coin is more than just a chunk of silver. It's a symbol of the fragility and resilience of a nation in crisis. It's a whisper from a bygone era, passed down through generations, waiting to be rediscovered. Will more examples surface? Will history books be rewritten to reflect their existence? We can't say for sure, but we do know this. Every coin has a story, and the story of the 1934 piece dollar is still. The next up, the 1935 $1 coin. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary silver dollar, one that you could have found in your grandfather's drawer or tucked away in an old collection. But make no mistake, certain editions of the $1,935 are now among the most valuable and sought-after coins in the world. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a history buff, or just curious about how a single dollar could be worth tens or even hundreds of thousands, this video is for you. Let's begin by setting the scene. The year is 1935. The United States is in the midst of the Great Depression, a time when every dollar counted. The piece dollar, the coin in question, was originally minted starting in 1921 to commemorate the end of World War I and symbolize a new era of peace. It was the last U.S. silver dollar intended for circulation that was struck in silver. By 1935, the piece dollar series was drawing to a close, with that year marking the final run of regular issue minting for this iconic coin. Only two mints produced piece dollars that year, Philadelphia and San Francisco, resulting in coins without a mint mark and those with an S, mint mark, respectively. But what makes the $1,935 so unique isn't just its historical context or limited mintage. It's the incredible rarity of certain variations, minting errors, trial strikes, and pristine conditions that elevate these coins from common collectibles to million-dollar treasures. The fact that this was the last year of the piece dollar series adds even more weight to its significance, making it a keystone piece for serious collectors. The design of the 1935 piece dollar is a masterpiece in its own right. Sculpted by Anthony de Francisi, The obverse of the coin features the profile of Lady Liberty, modeled after the artist's wife. Her windswept hair and serene expression represent the hope and optimism that the country desperately needed after years of war. On the reverse side, an American bald eagle rests atop a rock, clutching an olive branch, another symbol of peace, with the word peace boldly inscribed below. The artistry is subtle yet powerful, blending classical elements with a modern sensibility that captured the zeitgeist of the Roaring Twenties and the post-war dream. In 1935, most peace dollars were struck in the standard composition, 90% silver and 10% copper, weighing 26.73 grams. But here's where it gets fascinating. Not all 1935 peace dollars were created equal. A small handful of these coins stand out due to anomalies in the minting process, such as double dies, over-polished dies, or unusually sharp strikes. These minor details, invisible to the untrained eye, can drastically affect the value of a coin. One of the most valuable versions of the 1935 peace dollar is the so-called 1935 S Micro S variety. The S, mint mark, indicating the San Francisco Mint, appears smaller than normal. This variety was produced using a different punch or die, and only a few examples are known to exist. Finding a 1935 S Micro S in high-grade condition, especially ones certified by grading authorities like PeaceGS or NGC, can be the difference between a few $100s and tens of thousands. Another notable variation involves the quality of the strike. Coins with full, well-defined details, particularly in Liberty's hair and the eagle's feathers, are rare due to worn dies used in the later minting stages. These high-relief strikes fetch premium prices at auctions. In fact, one such example, graded MS 67, a near-perfect condition, sold for over $80,000 at auction. That's a jaw-dropping return on what was once just a simple dollar coin. There are even rumors of a 1935 proof strike coins made with special care for presentation purposes, not general circulation. While not officially confirmed by the mint, a few pieces show characteristics of proof strikes, including mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. If ever authenticated, a genuine 1935 peace dollar proof could easily become a $1 million coin. Let's talk about money. Real, modern-day cash paid for these relics of history. Over the years, auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have seen fierce bidding wars over high-grade 1935 peace dollars. In 2021, a 1935 S-graded MS 67 by PeaceGS sold for over $110,000. What drove that price up wasn't just rarity, but a perfect storm of condition, historical importance, and collector demand. Another notable sale featured a 1935 Philadelphia minted peace dollar with an exceptionally clean surface and sharp strike, graded MS 66+, that fetched nearly $50,000. These prices are not anomalies. They reflect a broader trend in the numismatic world, where high-grade, final-year peace dollars have become a hot commodity. The growing interest from both U.S. and international collectors, coupled with the limited number of top-quality coins, continues to push the value higher. Some experts speculate that as silver becomes scarcer and more collectors enter the market, prices for rare peace dollars could double or even triple within the next decade. So, what should you do if you think you might have a 1935 peace dollar lying around? First, handle it carefully, preferably with gloves, and avoid cleaning it, which can reduce its value significantly. Next, get appraised by a professional or sent to a certified grading service like NGC or PeaceGS. Even lower-grade 1935 peace dollars can be worth more than face value, especially if they have unusual features or varieties. If you're considering investing in one, do your homework. Study auction results, verify the coin's provenance, and be wary of counterfeits, which are increasingly common due to the coin's rising value. Joining numismatic forums or local coin clubs can also be a great way to learn and connect with others in the community. In conclusion, the 1935 $1 coin is more than just currency. It's a piece of American history, a work of art, and for a lucky few, a hidden treasure worth a small fortune. Its blend of artistic beauty, historical significance, and rarity make it one of the most exciting coins to collect today. So the next time you come across an old silver dollar, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of the past, worth far more than its face value. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and historical collectibles, and let us know in the comments. Have you ever seen or held a 1935 piece dollar? Or maybe you have one in your collection. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep collecting, stay curious, and remember, every coin tells a story.